Today's big-budget blockbuster releases ship broken code packed with microtransactions, and the harsh truth is the best gaming experiences were created decades ago. These classic titles didn't need day-one patches, season passes, or loot boxes to deliver unforgettable moments. They just worked, and they worked so well that today's $70 releases still can't match what these legends achieved on outdated hardware. Super Mario Bros. 3 introduced more game-changing mechanics in one cartridge than most today's high-profile franchises can deliver across multiple sequels. The raccoon suit, frog suit, and Tanuki transformation weren't mere cosmetics. They fundamentally reshaped traversal and combat. Today's feature-bloated platformers stick to safe, predictable power-up systems. Terrified players might sequence break their scripted paths. The world map was a stroke of genius, turning progression into a genuine adventure through distinct kingdoms. Each world boasted unique personality, challenges, and surprises, keeping the journey fresh end to end. Titles now craft massive maps, but populate them with repetitive fetch quests that make exploration feel like chore rather than discovery. Difficulty spikes were balanced by multiple paths and power-ups, letting players choose how to tackle each challenge. You could brute force levels with mushrooms and fire flowers or master advanced techniques for speed. Today's credit-driven experiences either hold your hand through everything or artificially inflate cheap deaths and padded checkpoints. Level design in Mario 3 remains so meticulous that speedrunners uncover new tricks decades later. Every pipe, platform, and enemy placement serve a purpose. Procedural designs lack that handcrafted precision, proving that human intuition often outperforms data-driven algorithms. Sometimes simplicity and care beat bloated spectacle every time. Arkham City proved superhero games could transcend cheap movie tie-ins and button mash beat-em-ups. Its combat system moved like poetry. Fluid counters, environmental takedowns, and gadget integration that truly made you feel like the Dark Knight. Today's generic action offerings either botch this system or abandon it for bland combat formulas, stripping away everything that makes Batman unique. The open-world layout was surgical in precision. Every building, rooftop, and hidden nook serve a narrative or gameplay function. You weren't just ticking off icons. You investigated crimes, unraveled conspiracies, and solved Riddler enigmas demanding genuine detective work. Compare that to today's tone-deaf blockbusters dumping you into generic cityscapes teeming with repetitive crime mills unrelated to the hero's essence. Arkham City balanced power fantasy with vulnerability. You felt unstoppable in combat, yet stealth segments reminded you Batman is still human facing overwhelming odds. Modern superhero releases either start you overpowered or artificially nerf your abilities to manufacture fake challenge. Real tension stems from thoughtful design, not arbitrary handicaps. Even the villain lineup achieved perfection. Penguin's Museum, Two-Face Courthouse, Joker's Carnival of Horrors. Each encounter felt distinct and memorable. Nowadays, these franchises cycle forgettable bosses designed only for spectacle. Arkham City honored its source material while delivering an interactive masterpiece. San Andreas delivered 3 sprawling cities, countryside, deserts, and mountains, all brimming with activities, secrets, and character. No intrusive map markers, no premium currencies, no battle passes. You discovered content organically through exploration and experimentation. Today's bloat-ridden titans deliver bigger maps with less soul, filling every corner with repetitive chores designed to elongate playtime rather than enrich it. The level of customization here shames feature-laden efforts. You could modify cars, change CJ's appearance, sculpt your physique with tangible gameplay effects, and master distinct fighting styles, all included in the base package. Today's franchises would parcel out each of these as paid DLC, likely charging extra for new hairstyles or muscle presets. This game progressed without engineered monetization tactics. No daily challenges, no FOMO mechanics, no confusing currency exchanges. You played because the content was genuinely fun, not because algorithms manipulated your engagement. That respect for player agency feels revolutionary compared to today's exploitative models. And don't forget mod support. Fans created everything from new cities to complete graphical overhauls. Publishers nowadays see mods as threats to DLC revenue, actively shutting down community tools. San Andreas trusted players to amplify the experience, while today's paywall-driven games treat creativity as competition.
He popped his membrane years ago.
BioShock didn't just tell a story, it made you complicit in it. The "would you kindly" reveal was more than a twist, it was a meta-commentary on player agency. While today's titles boast political themes, BioShock genuinely explored complex questions about free will, objectivism, and moral responsibility. Many recent blockbusters mistake surface-level messaging for real thematic depth. Rapture's world-building puts current high-budget releases to shame. Every audio diary, scratch-written note, and Art Deco ruined piece contributes to a cohesive vision of societal collapse. Players could reconstruct the cities, fall from clues woven into the environment. Contemporary franchises scatter lore collectibles like Easter eggs rather than organically integrating narrative into the world. Combat felt meaningful because it tied directly to the story. Deciding whether to harvest or save little sisters wasn't a morality meter. It reflected your own descent into inhumanity. The Plasmid Arsenal let you embrace monstrosity in visceral ways. Modern franchises present moral choices as binary toggles with no lasting gameplay impact. Most impressive is how BioShock's mechanics reinforce its themes. Vending machines, gene mod stations, and propaganda posters all serve dual narrative and gameplay roles. AAA blockbusters treat story and mechanics as separate pillars instead of a unified experience. BioShock proved games can be smart entertainment, not just expensive distractions.
Remember me telling you about the trouble we've been
Red Dead
having?
Redemption delivered a Western epic few current blockbusters can match for emotional resonance. John Marston's journey from outlaw to family man felt earned because Rockstar invested time in his relationships and internal conflicts. There was no rush to instant drama. Every tension-filled moment built naturally. Game writing now blitz character arcs for fear of losing attention. The living world set the standard. NPCs maintained daily routines. Wildlife roamed instinctively, and random encounters emerged from the environment organically rather than as obvious forced content. You could spend hours simply existing in this frontier. Open-world outings rarely capture that sense of unforced immersion. Red Dead's missions seamlessly blended gameplay and narrative. Herding cattle revealed Marston's ranching past. Breaking horses showcased his patience. And each task advanced both story and skill. Today's paywalled juggernauts silo story missions from side activities, resulting in disjointed experiences where nothing feels cohesive. The ending still hits harder than anything in recent years because it was earned through hundreds of hours of careful storytelling, not manipulative music stings or forced tearjerkers. Current devs attempt emotional payoff without investing in the groundwork, leaving moments hollow. Pokemon Red and Blue sparked a phenomenon by trusting players to blaze their own paths. There were no quest logs, no objective markers, and I didn't even notice. You received a Pokédex and were tasked to fill it with every discovery, rare Pokemon in hidden grottos or through link cable trades, emerging organically, not dictated by the devs. The social dynamic was revolutionary. Trading and battling required real human connection. Link cables, playground negotiations, and genuine friendships forged over mutual collection goals. Monetization-focused iterations now replicate this online, but their sterile, transactional design misses the warmth of those original interactions. What's most damning is how today's sequels have abandoned exploration. Routes in Red/Blue were puzzle boxes rife with secrets, optional trainers, and hidden items. Each corner held surprises. Modern entries usher you along linear paths, peppering narrative prompts so players never feel lost or curious. A competitive scene emerged organically from those simple mechanics and still thrives decades later. Newer releases struggle to retain attention beyond a few months. The original 151 Pokemon each had distinct utility and personality, spawning endless team compositions. Modern bloated rosters and opaque mechanics alienate casual fans. Sometimes, simplicity lays the strongest foundation. Assassin's Creed 2 plunged you into Renaissance Italy with meticulous authenticity. Cities weren't mere backdrops, but lovingly researched reconstructions where you climbed iconic landmarks and witnessed real historical events. Modern AC installments treat historical settings like cookie-cutter theme parks, prioritizing scale over immersion and littering worlds with modern gameplay tropes that break the illusion. Ezio Auditore's arc unfolds with patient care. You witness his growth from impetuous youth to seasoned assassin through carefully paced story beats and genuine relationships. Cash grab titles introduce protagonists without earning our investment, skipping the nuanced character building that made Ezio one of gaming's most beloved heroes. Assassination missions demanded planning and creativity. You could infiltrate targets via rooftops, crowds, or disguise, using tools and timing to craft unique approaches. Current franchise entries reduce stealth to optional cookie-cutter encounters, discouraging creativity. The social stealth system once made you think like a true assassin rather than a generic action star. It's tragic how the series abandoned these strengths in favor of bloated RPG systems and mindless combat. Assassin's Creed 2 thrived under creative constraints. Today's high-profile sequels mistake content quantity for quality, proving that sometimes more really is less. Max Payne delivered a noir thriller that treated players like adults capable of digesting themes of grief, revenge, and corruption. Bullet time wasn't a flashy gimmick. It reinforced the protagonist's world, slowing to a crawl as he spiraled into despair. Today's games borrow similar mechanics, but detach them from any narrative purpose, missing the point entirely. The internal monologue system evoked hard-boiled crime novels. Max's cynical narration and dark humor emerged organically from his character rather than being try-hard quips. Today's big-budget heroes deliver sanitized one-liners penned by marketing teams terrified of offense. Combat felt personal and desperate rather than superheroic. You weren't invincible. You were a broken cop with nothing left to lose, fighting through pain and addiction. The health system reinforced vulnerability, making each encounter feel dangerous. Usually games either render you unstoppable or inflate enemy health bars to simulate challenge, stripping away impact. Most telling is how violence in Max Payne serves the story rather than padding runtime. Each fight advances character arcs or reveals crucial backstory, while feature-laden releases treat combat as filler. The graphic novel-style cutscenes captivate more than many AAA cinematics, proving style and narrative cohesion matter more than budget.
Love to watch cartoons. Captain Beast.
Super Mario World nailed difficulty progression so perfectly that modern platformers still struggle to match it. Every level taught a new concept built on prior lessons, creating a natural learning curve that never felt overwhelming or tedious. Today's big-budget platformers either baby you with 30-minute tutorial segments or abruptly toss you into punishing gauntlets without proper prep. Nintendo understood the best teaching happens through play, not lecture. The secret exit system was sheer genius. Star roads, hidden levels, and secret exits felt like genuine discoveries rather than checklist items. You had to read environmental clues and experiment with mechanics to unearth everything. Experiences now highlight every collectible to avoid miscontent, robbing players of that deep satisfaction of discovery. Power-ups in Mario World fundamentally altered gameplay. The cape's flight mechanics and Yoshi's abilities weren't mere stat boosts. They unlocked fresh traversal and combat strategies. Current blockbusters treat power-ups as temporary buffs, rarely transforming how you interact with a level. That single feather does more for movement design than most recent action titles muster. Level design in Mario World is surgical in its efficiency. No filler, no padding, no artificial length extensions. Every platform, enemy, and secret serves a purpose. Devs pad runtimes with fetch quests and collectathons, assuming players equate hours logged with value rather than quality experienced. Mario World respects your time by making every moment count. Other open-world juggernauts bombard you with sprawling maps devoid of meaningful content. Ocarina of Time's Hyrule was comparatively compact, yet every location served a purpose. No mindless collectathons, no clone towers, no fetch quests masquerading as variety. Each dungeon was a masterclass in interconnected design. Every newly won tool not only unlocked puzzles, but fundamentally transformed your approach to exploration and combat. What really exposes lazy design in today's high-profile titles is item relevance. Your boomerang from the first dungeon still shines in the final temple. Bottles never felt like clutter, and each ability remained essential rather than a disposable novelty. Current blockbusters dump dozens of weapons and gadgets on you, most of which become redundant shortly after the tutorial. It's quantity over quality taken to absurd extremes. That lock-on system, now a given, was revolutionary for solving 3D combat intuitively rather than clunkily. While contemporary franchises still fumble camera and targeting decades later, Nintendo nailed it on their first real foray into 3D adventure. And the time manipulation mechanics remain more inventive than many recent releases. Today's developers throw massive budgets at photorealism, forgetting that clever mechanics matter far more than pixel counts. Most damningly, Ocarina of Time respect your time. No artificial padding, no daily login bonuses, no battle passes, just pure, concentrated game design that trusts players to value depth over hours played. Something AAA experiences seem to have completely forgotten. Chrono Trigger shipped in 1995 as a complete masterpiece. 12 distinct endings, a revelatory new game plus, and time travel mechanics interwoven into the narrative. One purchase delivered everything. No season passes, no DLC roadmaps, no post-launch content held hostage behind additional fees. Today's devs would stretch that single game experience across 5 years of drip-fed updates. The storytelling complexity still puts narrative teams to shame. Each era wasn't just a visual palette swap. Actions in prehistory could dramatically reshape the future, creating cause and effect chains most modern games won't attempt for fear of confusing focus-tested audiences. As a result, we get linear tales with the illusion of choice rather than narratives that truly branch and evolve. Chrono Trigger's character arcs stand out too. Party members boasted unique personalities, fighting styles, and combo attacks, encouraging experimentation. You felt genuine attachment to Frog's redemption quest or Robo's existential struggle. Current high-profile franchises introduce dozens of characters but develop none. Too busy engineering franchise potential rather than heartfelt storytelling. Everything feels like a committee product, not a tale someone desperately wanted to tell. Even the multiple endings required system mastery and strategic choices throughout the journey. Today's multiple endings usually offer cosmetic variations unlocked by a single final choice. Chrono Trigger respected your investment and rewarded your skill, while today's pay-to-play ecosystems respect only your credit card. Dark Souls dropped in 2011 and immediately exposed how soft today's big-budget blockbusters have become. No difficulty sliders, no quest markers, no microtransactions to skip the challenge. From Software build a world demanding respect, where every death taught you something and every triumph felt hard-earned through skill and persistence. The genius of Dark Souls isn't just its punishing difficulty, it's the trust. The game trusts you to learn from your mistakes, explore without guidance, and uncover secrets through experimentation rather than following on-screen arrows. Big devs treat players like children in constant need of validation and direction. They strip away mystery and challenge, fearing any moment of confusion. Dark Souls dared you to figure out yourself and spawned one of gaming's most passionate communities. Even the online features enhanced immersion without monetizing atmosphere. Notes from other players, ghostly echoes of deaths, and spontaneous invasions created genuine tension and shared struggle. Compare that to current premium-focused releases whose online layers exist solely to sell cosmetics, battle passes, and premium currencies. Dark Souls use connectivity to build community, whereas today's pay-to-play ecosystems use it to bleed while it's dry. The runaway success of Elden Ring shows players are starving for experiences that trust their intelligence rather than patronize them. Yet paywall-driven studios keep dumbing down their offerings and wonder why engagement plummets after week 1. Dark Souls still thrives with lore discussions and speedrunning communities over a decade later. 20 years later, Half-Life 2 still makes today's feature-laden shooters look primitive. Valve crafted something genuinely revolutionary, a world where every object mattered. That crowbar wasn't just a weapon, it was a tool for solving physics puzzles few contemporary releases dare to attempt. You could stack boxes to reach hidden areas, turn debris into makeshift munitions with a gravity gun, or marvel at fluid water dynamics. But here's where it gets embarrassing for big-budget studios. Half-Life 2 told its entire story without a single traditional cutscene. No dull exposition dumps, no wresting control from the player. Every plot twist happened in Gordon Freeman's shoes, making discoveries feel organic rather than forced. Compare that to today's blockbusters that interrupt gameplay every 5 minutes with unskippable cinematics treating players like passive viewers. The craziest part is how Valve empowered its community. The Source engine was so ahead of its time that modders still use it to craft experiences rivaling modern indie hits. Meanwhile, today's paywall-controlled engines often restrict modding outright, so publishers can gatekeep every piece of downloadable content. 20 years on, players keep uncovering new secrets in City 17, while recent big-budget sagas already fade from memory. That's the difference between building a living world and rendering a mere tech demo. Portal 2 expanded everything brilliant about the original without losing focus or cramming in extraneous features. Its co-op campaign wasn't a buddy mode tacked on a single player. It introduced entirely new puzzles demanding real communication and teamwork. Meanwhile, feature-laden sequels simply pile on more weapons, abilities, and open-world maps without understanding what made the original special. The writing in Portal 2 outshines contemporary blockbusters. GLaDOS, Wheatley, and Cave Johnson deliver razor-sharp dialogue that enriches gameplay rather than pausing it. Today's big-budget titles hire expensive voice talent for generic quips and exposition dumps that feel disconnected from the player's actions. Portal 2's humor emerged organically from gameplay scenarios, never forced into contrived cutscenes. Mechanics stayed elegant and purpose-driven. Each new element served the core puzzle concept. Modern open-service juggernauts suffer from feature creep. Crafting systems, RPG stats, and sprawling worlds dilute the essence. They fear a lean design won't justify the price tag, so they bloat everything with unnecessary complexity that pleases nobody. Portal 2 shipped with robust mod tools and community features that kept fans engaged for years. Premium-focused publishers today actively fight modding because they want to control post-launch revenue streams. Portal 2 trusted its community to innovate, while paywall-driven experiences treat players as mere wall extensions. Mass Effect 2 understood a truth many high-profile studios have forgotten. Choices only matter if they carry real weight. Your decisions didn't just alter dialogue colors or unlock cosmetic fireworks in the ending. Squad members could die permanently based on your preparation and choices during the climactic mission. Current big-budget blockbusters offer dialogue trees that lead to identical outcomes, treating choice as window dressing rather than narrative foundation. The loyalty missions delivered brutal, character-driven storytelling. You had to earn each squad member's trust through personal quests revealing their backstories and motivations. These weren't mere fetch tasks. They were compelling narratives that made you care deeply about your crew. Other franchises introduce party members en masse, yet expect instant attachment, skipping the craftsmanship that forged genuine bonds. Mass Effect 2's DLC strategy set the standard. Each expansion added substantial new storylines, squad members, and meaningful hours of gameplay. Today's paywall-driven releases chop content into bite-sized chunks sold as premium experiences. Even the import system rewarded long-term investment by carrying choices from the first game into the sequel. Current premium-focused sequels either ignore their predecessors or reference them in throwaway lines with zero impact. Mass Effect 2 proved that respecting player investment fosters deeper engagement than any cash grab scheme ever could.